She thought it was just the wrong room. He thought it was just damage control. But neither expected one night to spark a fake relationship. That turned into something real. When a powerful CEO asks his assistant to pretend to be his girlfriend to save a $90 million deal. What starts as a lie becomes a love that no one saw coming. But can two people who were never supposed to fall survive the truth? If you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the twist of real emotions behind fake smiles, don't forget to hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Would you have said yes to Cole's deal? And if you want more stories where love grows in the most unexpected places, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Because the next story, it could start with one wrong step into the right heart. Ava Bennett hadn't slept in 36 hours. The 27-year-old executive assistant was the last one standing at the Evermont Group's annual leadership summit in Palm Springs, a five-star resort crawling with tech billionaires, venture capitalists, and sharks in designer suits. Ava wasn't one of them. She was the one behind the curtain, booking the flights, adjusting the schedules, making sure the CEO's favorite coffee arrived exactly 7 minutes before his first panel. Tonight, she was exhausted, mentally, physically, emotionally done. The last investor cocktail ran long. She wasn't supposed to drink, but someone had handed her a champagne flute. She took a few sips. It was sweet at first, then burned her throat, stronger than she expected. She smiled, nodded, kept moving. Work first, always work first. By the time she left the rooftop lounge, her heels felt like bricks and her vision was soft around the edges. Ava mumbled to herself as she stumbled down the gold-lit hallway, gripping the wall for balance. Room 607, 607. The room numbers blurred like melting paint. Her keycard fumbled from her fingers. She spotted a door slightly ajar, just a crack. "Thank God," she whispered, too tired to question why her room was magically unlocked. She kicked off her heels. Her purse slid off her shoulder and thudded to the carpet. She didn't bother with the lights. Ava collapsed face first onto the bed like it was a cloud hand-delivered from heaven. Her last thought before blacking out: this mattress is way too good for middle management. What she didn't know, what would change everything, was that it wasn't her room, and it wasn't her bed. It was his. The next morning, the sunlight came in like a punch. Ava groaned, rolling over slowly. Her head throbbed. She blinked at the ceiling, confused. Something felt off. This wasn't the soft beige of her hotel room. This duvet smelled like cedar and cologne. Nice cologne, masculine. Then, the pillow beside her moved. Her breath caught. That wasn't a pillow. It was a man's chest, firm, warm, alive. Ava gasped and jolted back, only to see him. Cole, freaking Harrington, the CEO, her boss, her untouchable, emotionally robotic, frighteningly brilliant boss. The man who ran billion-dollar deals without blinking. The man who once fired a guy for forgetting to mute a Zoom call. That man was lying in bed beside her, shirtless, half awake, and looking very, very confused. She let out a strangled sound. Cole blinked slowly, then frowned. "What the hell?" Ava scrambled off the bed like it was on fire. Her knee hit the nightstand. Her bag was across the room. Her shoes were under the bed. She was breathing so hard it felt like drowning. This isn't, she stammered. Cole sat up, dragging a hand down his face. His voice was hoarse. "Are you in my room?" "I didn't mean to, I swear. The door was open. I thought it was mine." He stared at her, deadpan. No emotion, which was worse than anger. It was pure judgment. "This," he said slowly, "is my suite." She covered her face, mortified. Oh God, I'm gonna be fired, or sued, or both. Cole stood, pulled on a t-shirt, calm as ever. "Relax. Nothing happened. You were unconscious. I thought I was dreaming. I snored in your bed. That, you definitely did." She grabbed her heels, her purse, her sanity, what was left of it, and bolted for the door. But before she left, he said one thing that made her freeze. "Ava." She turned, still flushed, still shaking. "If this gets out," he said flatly, "it won't be just your job at risk. Mine too." She nodded, Understood. But what neither of them knew was someone had seen her. And that wrong room? That innocent mistake? It was just the beginning of something neither of them would ever be able to control. Ava sprinted down the hallway like she was running from a crime scene. Her shoes clacked against the marble floor, purse half-zipped, hair a tangled mess. Her heart was pounding louder than her footsteps. She didn't even remember what floor she was supposed to be on. She just needed to get away, far from that suite, far from him. But fate wasn't done with her. As she turned a corner, her eyes met a hotel staff member, housekeeping, holding fresh towels. The woman paused, eyebrows rising, and glanced at Ava's disheveled clothes, bare feet, and flaming red face. Ava froze. The look said everything, and it was too late. By the time Ava made it back to her actual room, her phone was already lighting up with a message from the office assistant. "Hey, are you okay? There's talk going around. Did something happen with you and Mr. Harrington?" Ava dropped her phone on the bed like it was hot coal. Her stomach twisted. The only thing worse than what happened last night was what people thought had happened. She hadn't done anything wrong, but now it didn't matter. The whispers had begun. By 10 a.m., the summit's main ballroom was buzzing, not with spreadsheets or projections, but with one juicy headline: Ava Bennett spent the night with the CEO. At 10:15 a.m., Ava was summoned to Human Resources. She walked into the conference room to find two HR reps, one very uncomfortable PR director, and a lukewarm cup of hotel coffee waiting for her. "Miss Bennett," one of them began, too gently, "we've been made aware of an incident this morning involving you and Mr. Harrington." Ava's face drained of color. "It was a mistake. I was exhausted. I walked into the wrong room. Nothing happened, I swear." The PR director looked like she wanted to be anywhere else on Earth. "The problem isn't what did or didn't happen. The problem is that investors have heard, and they're asking questions." Ava sat back, dizzy. Her entire career, 5 years of working her way up, was about to go up in smoke over a drunken accident and a bad lock. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "Come to the 18th floor, suite 1802, now." Cole. Ava stood. "I need to go." No one stopped her. She took the elevator up in silence, hands shaking. As she approached the door to his suite, the same suite she'd woken up in India just hours earlier, her breath caught in her throat. She knocked once. Cole opened the door instantly, like he'd been standing right behind it. He didn't smile. He didn't blink. "Come in." Ava stepped inside cautiously, expecting a lecture, maybe even a termination. "If this is where you fire me, I'd appreciate it if you didn't do it in a suite I accidentally drooled on." Cole didn't laugh. He gestured to the couch. She didn't sit. "I heard about the rumors," he said flatly. "So did the board. So did the Callahan Group." "The Callahans?" Ava's voice cracked. They were the billion-dollar investors the company had been courting for months. Cole nodded. "And they loved it." "What?" "They think we're in a relationship," he said, deadpan. "Apparently, it makes me look human and relatable." Ava blinked. "That's insane." "No, that's business." He took a slow step toward her. "And right now, business needs you to play along." "You're asking me to pretend to be your girlfriend?" He nodded. "For 72 hours, until the deal closes." Ava stared at him like he'd grown a second head. "That's your plan? Fake a relationship with the woman who snored in your bed?" He didn't flinch. "It's either that, or we both deal with the fallout. I lose a $90 million deal. You lose your job." Silence. Her pulse roared in her ears. This couldn't be real. But the worst part? It made sense. She folded her arms, heart still racing. What happens after 72 hours? We forget it ever happened. Ava looked him dead in the eye. "And if I say no?" Cole shrugged. "You won't." She hated that he was right. Ava should have said no. Instead, she stood in Cole Harrington's penthouse suite, staring him down, arms crossed, voice low but clear. "Fine. I'll do it. But we set rules. No touching unless necessary. No personal questions. And when this is over, we go back to being nothing." Cole barely nodded, like it was a business deal. Agreed. But something in his eyes said otherwise. That night came faster than she expected. The welcome cocktail reception for the Callahan investors was hosted by the resort's rooftop terrace. Gold lanterns, string lights, soft jazz playing. Ava arrived in a sleek navy dress she borrowed from Natalie. She had no interest in dressing to impress, but she couldn't look like she stumbled out of a PR disaster either. Cole was already there, talking to Charles Callahan himself. As soon as he spotted Ava across the terrace, he excused himself and walked straight to her. No hesitation, no smile, just cool confidence. "You're late," he murmured. "I almost backed out," she replied. "Glad you didn't." Then, without warning, he reached for her hand. "Ready?" Ava's breath caught. His fingers were warm, firm. She didn't pull away. They walked into the crowd, hand in hand. The room noticed, heads turned, eyes tracked them. Someone whispered, "Is that her?" As if she were a celebrity scandal come to life. Ava forced a smile. Cole's grip tightened just slightly. Charles Callahan approached, swirling his glass of whiskey. "Well, well, Mr. Harrington, I see you've been keeping secrets." Cole smiled like he'd rehearsed it. "Not secrets, just priorities." Charles turned to Ava. "And who might you be, young lady?" Before Ava could speak, Cole answered, tone smooth. "This is Ava Bennett, my partner." Partner. That word hit different in her chest. Charles beamed. "Charming. It's good to see you grounded, Cole. Makes business feel more human." Ava laughed, awkward, but convincing. She leaned just slightly into Cole, hoping she was playing the role well enough. He, on the other hand, looked like he'd been born for this. Every gesture, every line, flawless. But then came the shift. Later that night, after 3 conversations, 2 glasses of wine, and a dozen polite laughs, Ava noticed something odd. Cole wasn't just acting anymore. When she adjusted her dress strap, his gaze lingered a heartbeat too long. When someone asked how they met, his answer sounded like memory, not fiction. When their hands brushed while reaching for the same appetizer, he didn't flinch away. He let it stay. And the scariest part? She let it stay too. On the balcony, as the party buzzed behind them, Ava finally whispered, "You're getting too comfortable with this." Cole turned, eyebrows raised. "You mean doing my job?" "I mean pretending like this is real." He didn't smile, didn't blink. "You're the one who said no lines, just following your rules. But you're not, are you?" He stepped closer, just enough for her to feel it. "Tell me something, Ava," he said, voice low. "Why does this bother you so much, if none of it's real?" Her throat tightened. She looked away. "Because you're supposed to be cold, controlled, predictable. And right now, you're not." Cole leaned in, his tone still calm but sharper. "Maybe I'm just better at this than you thought." She stepped back, heartbeat wild. "Then maybe you're not the only one who's playing a little too well." They stood in silence, tension thick between them, the city lights flickering below like fireflies. Inside, the investors toasted to trust and transparency. Outside, Ava realized something dangerous. This wasn't just business anymore, and if they weren't careful, they were both about to lose far more than a deal. Ava tried, she really did, tried to keep it professional, tried to remind herself it was all fake, a business deal, a PR move, nothing more. But then came the late nights. The first was harmless, just reviewing talking points for the investor presentation. She sat across from Cole at the resort's business lounge, laptop open, coffee in hand, scribbling notes while he paced in circles, tossing out ideas like grenades. "We need to hit numbers in Q2, but don't sound desperate. And if Callahan asks about the Boston expansion, shift to long-term value," Ava interrupted, finishing his sentence without thinking. Cole paused. "Exactly." They locked eyes. He nodded. She smirked. "Just work, right?" Then came dinner. Not fancy, not staged, just a room service after a 14-hour day. Burgers and fries. Cole, CEO of a billion-dollar company, ate his with no napkin, ketchup on his thumb. Ava laughed. He looked confused. "What?" "You're supposed to be untouchable," she teased. "But you eat like a frat boy." Cole grinned. "You're not supposed to notice that." "I notice everything." They laughed. It lingered. The third time, It wasn't even about work. They were on the balcony of her suite, her real one this time, watching the moonlight ripple over the pool below. The breeze was soft. So was the silence. Ava broke it first. "You ever get tired of this?" He glanced at her. "What? Fake dating my assistant?" She chuckled. "No, I mean, the pressure, the image, the cold CEO thing." Cole leaned on the railing, arms crossed. "You think I'm cold?" She hesitated. "I think you hide behind it." He didn't deny it. Instead, he looked at her, really looked, and said, "Since you walked into my room that night, I haven't been sure of anything." Ava's heart skipped. It wasn't the line. It was the way he said it. Quiet, honest, like he didn't mean to say it out loud. She turned away, afraid he'd see too much in her face. The next day didn't help. They rehearsed the pitch together, sat shoulder to shoulder, flipping slides, correcting phrasing. He leaned over her screen, his cologne way too close. She felt her chest tighten, not from nerves. Later, they passed each other in the hallway, brushed hands by accident. Neither of them moved. His fingers lingered. She pulled back like she'd been burned. Because this wasn't supposed to happen. Feelings weren't part of the script. That night, she sat on the edge of her bed, phone in hand, staring at his contact. Should she text? Say something? End this before it got messy? But she didn't. Because the truth, the one she couldn't shake, was this. She wasn't pretending anymore. And the way Cole looked at her lately, neither was he. Just when Ava thought she had her feelings under control, the universe decided to slap her awake. She was walking past the spa lounge, headed toward the investor luncheon, when she heard it. Two female executives whispering near the indoor fountain. They didn't see her. He always does this. Finds someone pretty, throws her in the spotlight to soften his image. PR calls it humanizing the brand. I heard this one's just his assistant. Ava, right? Smart move. She won't say no. But let's be honest, she's just a pawn. Ava froze. Blood drained from her face. Her fingers curled into fists by her sides. She wanted to scream. Instead, she walked, fast, through the corridor, past the elevator, straight to Cole's suite, no knocking. She burst in. Cole looked up from his laptop, startled. "Ava?" She didn't wait. "Is that what this is to you? A strategy? A convenient image upgrade?" He closed the lid. "What happened?" "I heard them. They said I'm just a pawn in your little narrative. Is that true, Cole? Am I just a temporary prop for investors?" He stood, voice low but steady. "I didn't plan this, Ava." "That's not an answer." Cole took a step forward. "Do you think I fake the way I look at you?" She hesitated. He kept going. "Do you think I rehearsed every second of that balcony conversation? Or how my heart damn near exploded when you laughed at my ketchup-stained hand?" Ava's throat tightened, but she fought it. "That's not the point." "Then what is?" he snapped. "You want to talk honesty? Fine. I've never wanted anyone around longer than a few hours. You know that. But you're the exception." Silence. Ava blinked. Her chest caved like someone had punched her right in the heart. Because he meant it, and that terrified her more than the lies. She stepped back. "I didn't sign up to be someone's first emotional experiment." "It's not an experiment." "But it's not real either," she whispered. "It was never supposed to be." She turned, walked toward the door. Cole's voice stopped her cold. "You think I don't know I'm hard to trust? That I'm the last person you'd believe?" She didn't answer. He added softer. "But I never used you, Ava. I didn't plan for you. You just happened. And I didn't know how to stop it." She stood there, back to him, trying not to cry. Then she walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't stop at her suite. Just kept walking through the resort, out to the back patio, until the lights of Palm Springs blurred through her tears. Everything hurt. Her mind raced. Was he lying? Was he telling the truth? Did it even matter? Because somewhere along the way, she'd let herself believe it too. And now she was scared to death that it was all about to fall apart. 6 hours. That's how long Cole disappeared. No calls, no texts, no trace. His assistant tried reaching him. His driver didn't know where he'd gone. Even security couldn't track him. Ava pretended not to care. She buried herself in mock schedules, tried answering emails, with trembling hands, tried to focus on the upcoming investor roundtable. But when she opened her calendar, the next 2 events were canceled, then 2 more. And then she saw it. His entire afternoon wiped clean. Cole Harrington had vanished because of her. She sat alone in the conference lounge, staring at the empty chair he should have been in, stomach twisted with guilt and something worse, fear, that she'd pushed away the only man who'd ever actually seen her. Natalie, her closest friend at the firm, slid into the seat beside her. "You okay?" she asked. Ava gave a weak shrug. Natalie didn't buy it. "Listen, I don't know all the details, but I've watched you change. You light up when he's around, even when you're mad." Ava's eyes brimmed. "I messed it up, Nat. I walked away." Natalie reached for her hand. "Then walk back, Ava. This time, you're the one in control. You're not some pawn. You choose who stays in your life." Those words sank deep. Ava stood, didn't grab her bag, didn't say goodbye. She just ran. Down the stairs, through the side corridor, past the pool deck where the evening sun dipped low. Her heels clicked across the stone path leading to the private beachfront just beyond the resort. And there he was, Cole Harrington, alone, barefoot, his shoes tossed to the side, pant legs rolled up, blazer abandoned on the sand. He stood near the shoreline, watching the tide roll in, then crouched, and wrote something into the wet sand with his finger. Ava stepped closer. Her heart caught when she saw it. Ava. All caps. Letters bold and shaky, like they were carved in desperation. She said nothing. He turned slowly, eyes red, face tired. "You found me," he said softly. She blinked back tears. "You weren't exactly hiding well." He tried to smile, failed. "I've been in control my entire life," Cole said. "Of every deal, every moment, every word I say in a boardroom. But you," he exhaled, voice cracking, "you destroyed that. And I've never felt more human." Ava took a shaky breath. "I was scared," she whispered. "I've spent so long telling myself I don't believe in people like you." He stepped toward her. "What kind of people?" "The kind who mean what they say." Cole swallowed hard. "I do." Silence stretched between them, only the waves crashing and gulls in the distance filling the space. Then Ava said it, words that had sat heavy on her heart for days. "I never wanted to leave this role," she confessed. "Not for the cameras, not for the company, for me." He froze. "I liked pretending we were something," she added, voice trembling, "because somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like pretend." Cole didn't wait another second. He closed the gap, pulled her into his chest, arms wrapping around her like they were home. And, for the first time in her life, Ava let go of the fear, because what they had was messy. But it was real. The final night at the resort came too fast. The conference was officially over. The lights in the ballroom had dimmed. Luggage rolled down marble hallways. Executives clinked glasses, saying half-hearted goodbyes. Reality was creeping back in like a tide. Ava couldn't stop. She stood by the mirror in her suite, brushing her hair with quiet hands, her heart strangely hollow. For the first time in days, she wasn't scheduled to be by Cole's side. No appearances, no strategy, no pretending. Tomorrow they'd fly back. And whatever this was, this fragile, beautiful thing, they'd have to name it, or let it go. A knock. She turned. Cole was standing at her door, dressed in a soft gray sweater and dark slacks. No blazer, no tie. Just him. "Come with me," he said. He didn't wait for an answer. He just turned and walked. Ava followed. They stepped out onto the balcony of his suite, wide open, facing the ocean. The night was calm, stars low and close, and the only sound was the slow rush of waves. Cole leaned on the railing, staring into the darkness like he was trying to find words in the sea. Then he turned to her. "I used to think I could control everything," he said. "Every deal, every headline, every version of myself the world saw." Ava watched him, unsure where this was going. "But I can't control this," he added, voice barely above a whisper. "You walked into my room that night by accident. But staying, that wasn't a mistake." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small, velvet box. Ava's breath caught. He opened it. Inside wasn't a ring, but a necklace, silver, simple, with a single letter hanging from it. A. He held it up. The charm danced in the ocean breeze. "I'm not giving you a ring," he said gently. "Not yet. Because I'm not asking for forever. I'm not ready for that kind of promise." Ava blinked, heart pounding in her chest. "But I am ready for something real," he continued. "Something true. Something that starts here, with you." She swallowed hard. "This is my first step," Cole said. "Mommy. My first commitment to something that scares the hell out of me." The silence that followed was thick with emotion. Then, slowly, Ava stepped closer. She looked at the necklace, then at him, and she smiled. Tears shimmered in her eyes as she nodded. Cole moved behind her, gently fastened the chain around her neck. His fingers trembled slightly. When she turned back to face him, she didn't hesitate. She wrapped her arms around him, held him tight, and this time, it wasn't for show, not for optics, not for pretend. It was real, their first embrace, with no cameras, no script says, no roles, just Ava and Cole, two people, choosing each other, flawed, scared, and all in, for the first time, not bound by a lie. Back in the office, the fluorescent lights felt harsher, the air cooler, the pace faster, but something had changed. Ava sat at her desk like usual, head down, fingers flying over the keyboard. But the glint of silver around her neck caught the light. The tiny A shimmered with every breath she took. And across the room, Cole Harrington, the CEO who once walked through the building like a storm cloud in a tailored suit, was smiling. Smiling. Not the PR-approved smirk or the investor-friendly charm, but real, quiet, for no one else but her. Their story was still a secret. Or, at least, it was supposed to be. But secrets don't survive long in glass towers. The staff started noticing. The way his eyes lingered a second too long when she spoke in meetings. How she didn't flinch when challenging his opinion. The way they both laughed at the same time. Over things no one else found funny. No one said it aloud, but everyone knew. One afternoon, as Ava stepped into the elevator alone, the doors nearly closed, until a hand shot between them. Cole. He stepped inside, just the two of them, and silence. Except it wasn't awkward anymore. It was charged, warm, familiar. He leaned in, close enough for her heart to skip. Then, with a teasing smirk, he whispered, "Next time you accidentally walk into my room." Ava raised an eyebrow. "At least knock," he finished, voice low and full of meaning. She laughed, soft but sure, then turned to face him fully and replied, "I won't need to." His smile faltered, surprised. She stepped closer, her voice playful but certain. "Because next time, I'll know exactly where I'm going." The elevator dinged. They didn't move, not right away. The doors slid open, revealing the busy office beyond. Phones ringing, heels clicking, coffee cups clinking. Ava finally stepped out, but not before brushing her fingers against his hand. Quick, electric, intentional. Cole watched her walk away. The tough CEO, the master strategist, the man who could calculate risk in a heartbeat. Except now, he was risking everything, and he didn't care. That night, back at home, Ava stood by her window. The city lights blinked like stars, and the wind teased the edges of her curtains. She touched the necklace gently. A knock at the door startled her. She opened it. No one. Just a small envelope on the floor. Inside, a note in Cole's handwriting. 3 words. "Don't pretend anymore." A smile spread across her face, because she wasn't pretending. Not anymore. Sometimes, what begins as a mistake leads us exactly where we need to be. Ava stepped into the wrong hotel room and unknowingly walked into the right chapter of her life. In a world that often demands perfection, this story reminds us that authenticity, vulnerability, and emotional risk are where real connections begin. You don't have to control every outcome. Just be open when life surprises you. Love, trust, and self-worth aren't about having the perfect plan. They grow when 2 imperfect people show up honestly, even when afraid. So the next time something unexpected happens, ask yourself, what if this is the beginning of something real? If this story touched you or made you think differently about love or fate? Leave a comment below and tell us your favorite moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more emotional journeys that just might change the way you see life.